So with the frosts in 2014, one of the things that determines whether a frost will occur or not is the location of high pressure systems, because we know with frosts that it's very still conditions, and often cold air being brought in from somewhere else and descending onto the crop area. So what happens in winter is normally we have the mean path of high pressure systems go across the middle of Australia, and that's called the subtropical ridge. But what happens is sometimes that subtropical ridge drops and the high pressure systems track further south. Normally that happens in summer. And that also can bring really hot conditions. But what was really unusual was that we were having high pressure systems crossing Australia in winter, and then there was just this sudden drop, and we had high pressure system sitting very, very low, abnormally low in the Bight, probably something that in my career I've never seen before. And the other thing about the high pressure systems is when they cross Australia, they normally take in average in history, they've taken, say, 5 to 7 days to cross the continent. Now these high pressure systems are much larger than normal, and the pressure at the centre of the high is larger than ever recorded before. So it means that these high pressure systems are larger, and they're taking now, say, up to 10 days to cross the continent. But in August, we just had this sudden drop of where the high pressure systems were tracking, and we had this massively high pressure system basically in the Bight, and that dragged cold air from Antarctica up into the southern cropping regions, including Victoria, and it took about 10 days to cross the continent. From west to east it moves across, and so it meant that we had sub-zero temperatures almost every night for a week, and so those crops were exposed to sub-zero temperatures for very long periods of time. Some crops, and depending on what types, can withstand sub-zero temperatures for a period of time, but this was up to 8-10 hours of sub-zero temperatures in the cropping regions. So it didn't really matter what stage the crop was in. If those crops received sub-zero temperatures and were somewhat advanced, there was damage from stem frost to those that were in booting, and some were even out in heading stage. So work from Stephen Crimp from the CSIRO, and also funded by GRDC, looked into the incidence of frost and the length of the frost window. The frost window is lengthening in much of the cropping region. He looked at the start of the frost season, which is not so bad. There are some regions in the Mallee and in the southeast where we have earlier start to the frost season, which is probably not as much of a concern. But when we look at the end of the frost season, it's most of the major cropping regions where the frost season has been shown to be later. So when we're talking in the frost season length, we're talking up to 40 days later than compared to 1961 to 2010 in these darker regions.